NiSource after serving in a variety of senior leadership positions at GTE, Verizon, and most recently at Commonwealth Telephone Enterprise, where she served as their Chief Operating Officer. We so appreciate Eileen being with us today and weathering that rain out there. Thank you, Eileen.
Well, good afternoon. I appreciate you inviting me to talk to you for a few minutes before you get to go to the reception and really have a good time this evening, I hope. I'm proud to be here and represent the men and women of NiSource's Indiana business operations and share with you some of our experiences in the workforce development area. And I know that I'm preaching to the choir here, so just understand that I'm not up here thinking I'm embarking a great deal of information to you, but I'm interested in sharing with you our journey on the same road that many of you are on with us. I'd like to start by quoting from Mark Twain, who I'm told once told the story of suffering from the painful back ailment at the time known as lumbago. His doctor told him that if he would stop smoking, stop cussing, stop drinking, that his pain would go away. It proved to be good advice. A few weeks of abstinence and clean living made him a well man. A few months later, when an elderly woman told him of her suffering with the same ailment, Twain confidently recounted his doctor's advice. "But I don't smoke," the woman lamented. "I never cuss, and I've never allowed a drop of alcohol to pass my lips." "Well, there it is," Twain observed, "a sinking ship with nothing to throw overboard." Today, the utility industry finds itself in much the same position as Twain's forlorn and elderly friend. We too have a painful problem, and we have few remedies at hand. The electric, see if I can get this to work. The electric and natural gas industry is facing the near-term loss of thousands of our most senior skilled workers, the people we rely on every day to actually make and distribute the energy that our customers depend on. A steadily increasing number of our hourly employees have reached or will reach retirement age in the next 3 to 5 years, and when they leave, they will take with them such a wealth of critical talents and institutional memory. We all knew this was coming, of course, but pressures to keep budgets in check helped delay action for years, as did the ever-present need to keep our Wall Street investors happy. And in fairness, we have become so used to having a stable workforce that replacement planning was often just one more item for tomorrow's to-do list. Well, tomorrow is finally here, and we find that while the current pace of employee retirements is troubling, the future retirement picture is alarming. I'll just mention from being in a breakout session around the corner there, that I heard from some of our peer companies that they're really not hiring. And I would say, in contrast, we are hiring right now, and we see a tremendous need to hire at our entry-level skilled workforce jobs, and we see nothing but that increasing over time. According to the American Public Power Association, the loss of critical knowledge and the inability to find replacements with utility-specific skills are the two biggest challenges facing the public power utilities as a result of workforce aging. In the Midwest alone, in the next 5 years, nearly 6,700 line workers, 5,800 generation plant operators, and 7,600 technicians will need to be replaced. These numbers comprise 40 to 50% of the current workforce in these classifications. These positions so crucial to the energy industry and really to America's economy. At NIPSCO, my largest of the three companies that I'm privileged to represent, fully 50% of our hourly employees will be eligible for retirement within 5 years. And although this current economy has slowed somewhat that, decisions that people are making to retire, that's only going to last for a relatively short period. That means we're going to potentially have to replace, in our case, up to 200 highly skilled people every year for the next 5 years just to keep pace. When we look back, under normal circumstances, we might bring in as many as 150 prospects to get 15 or 20 who could successfully qualify for a position in the company. You know, we did the math and we reached for the Advil. Then it got worse. It became clear that the wider pool of potential job candidates lacked the basic level of technical proficiency needed to learn the jobs required at a modern utility. We all know here, and again, this is the preaching to the choir part, that the days of taking a high school diploma to a utility HR department and leaving with a good paying job are just long gone. The great majority of today's candidates seem to need significant remedial education before we could even consider hiring them. So on top of all else, we're facing keen competition for even modest prospects in a thin job pool. So now what? To paraphrase the English essayist Samuel Johnson, nothing focuses the mind like an impending hanging. Fortunately, our focus was more constructive. Indiana's state utilities created, before we get there, this is just a little plug for our company. And this is a blurry service map. We're basically in the northern third of our state for gas services. We serve 800,000 customers in our gas companies, and then the red is the electric, where we serve 450,000 customers in the far western part of our state. So now on to the consortium. The state, again, our Indiana-based and active state utilities created the Indiana Energy Consortium. Together we set out to create an ongoing partnership between energy industries and education, workforce, and development organizations with the goal of assuring an adequate supply of qualified, skilled workers. We needed to do it quickly, and we found willing partners along the way. As you can guess by looking at all of these logos, all of our state's major investor-owned gas and/or electric utilities are part of the consortium, as are the state's RMCs. It also includes corporations that operate their own power plants or who perform other utility-related work. But perhaps the most important and almost certainly the most enthusiastic member is our Indiana Ivy Tech community colleges. Ivy Tech is a statewide community college with 23 campuses, 8 of which are in the NIPSCO service territory. In terms of enrollment, it is our state's largest university and is growing. Ivy Tech played a role in devising the curriculum for the energy program, and they played a major role in obtaining a 3-year, $1 million grant from the U.S. Department of Labor to fund it. The utilities, meanwhile, agreed to help identify subject matter experts and instructors from our own workforces, provided facilities and materials for the training, and we're also committed to helping recruit students. Graduates of the energy program will receive either a career development certificate, should they participate for 1 year, or an Associate of Applied Science degree for 2 years of study in one of 3 concentrations: gas technology, power plant technology, or electric line technology. The programs are not designed to replace our internal programs. Instead, they act as a clearinghouse for people with mechanical and electrical aptitudes who have had acknowledged interest in the energy industry jobs. Across the state, the consortium members, like Vector and Duke, Alcoa Power Plants, are actively coordinating their training efforts to support the lessons learned at Ivy Tech. Our own training center in LaPorte, Indiana, where students learn to climb poles, rig lines, and learn the critical safety issues involved with working with natural gas. Our partnership, of course, is an enormous benefit to the Indiana utilities, where we once had to bring in 10 people with hopes that we might qualify perhaps 1 or 2. We now hope that 4 out of every 10 energy program graduates will ultimately be hired and remain with us, and the rest of the graduates are expected to go work with other contractors or partner companies. All students who successfully complete any of the Ivy Tech energy programs are guaranteed an interview with any of the partner energy companies who are hiring. And given, as I stated, our current retirement dynamics, there should be a lot of hiring, we believe, in the foreseeable future. Today, there are energy programs at the Ivy Tech campuses in Kokomo, Lawrenceburg, here in Indianapolis, Evansville, East Chicago, and Valparaiso. The program is most advanced at Ivy Tech's Valparaiso campus, which we're happy to say is up in our service territory, where 125 students are currently enrolled in the energy programs. And we're really excited to anticipate our first graduating class in December of this year. We have great hopes for this consortium, and while it was born of necessity, the exercise has reinforced the value of partnerships with education, workforce development professionals, and with others in the industry. You know, we think this can lead in so many directions. For now, as you've heard, the programs are largely tailored to the needs of Indiana's energy base, which is, you know, mostly coal and some gas. But as our nation turns to different ways of generating electricity, we will see the Ivy Tech and others expand the program to create the new energy, green energy kind of skill set as well. Anybody who drove here from up north, you saw the large wind farm that has just gone into service along I-65, and I'm sure you see that in all of the areas that you live as well. So I hope we remember the old Chinese proverb, which is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So we've begun planting our trees here in Indiana, and we plan to keep on planting. So I thank you very much. Do we want questions, or are we going to let people go free? What would they rather do, ask questions or go to the reception? Any questions or comments or suggestions? Yes, ma'am.
You said that you were still hiring. I'm just curious, did you allot a budget to overhire in order to develop and train on time?
We did. We have, I'm sure like all of the utility companies in the room, we have a very specific aging workforce plan. Now, probably like everybody, we scaled back our actions to that plan, but we very definitely looked at all the critical, high-skilled jobs, determined whether we needed someplace between a 3-month to a 12-month overlap to bring new people in, and at one time had all the budgets set to be able to fund that. With the difficulties that we've all experienced with the recession, and those of us certainly experienced with the weather this year, we're probably doing maybe about 30 to 40% of what we had originally planned. So that's part of our hiring. But the other part of our hiring is we just have ongoing requirements for our entry-level positions. We've got a fairly traditional labor contract. So most of our employees come to us either as meter readers, which we've not outsourced like many have, as well as customer service reps, and then once they get into those jobs and have successful performance, they can go basically, if they have the aptitude to, to any other skilled job throughout the company over time. So we're hiring both kind of needing the, intake of new entry-level positions, as well as trying to do as much as we can on aging workforce. Did I see another brave person? Not really. Well, all of you that came here from out of the state, thanks so much for coming to Indiana. We're really proud to have you here. I hope you enjoy your conference, and it was my pleasure to have a little bit of time with you. So have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Eileen, thank you so much for taking time out of what must be an incredibly busy schedule to be with us this evening. We are off to the reception, which will be downstairs in the Circle Lounge. And just a reminder that we will start tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with a breakfast, and the program will begin at 8. Thanks very much.